Welcome back to the deep dive. We know you're looking for clear insights into complex ideas, and today, well, we're tackling a really big one. A fundamental question, really. Why do good people suffer?
That's the heart of it. We're diving into a spiritual reflection today, one that really centers on the book of Job, specifically chapters 23 and 24.
Oh.
And our mission, if you like, is to pull out this core idea they present. True gold fears no fire. We want to analyze how this source frames suffering.
Not as random or even as punishment.
Exactly. It's framed as purposeful, targeted even, a process of refinement.
Like a refiner's furnace. That's the image.
Precisely. The idea is the heat is carefully managed by a divine force, and the whole point, the goal is purification, making something better, stronger.
Okay, so it's not just saying bad things happen. It's trying to give it a framework, a meaning.
A utility, almost.
Yeah.
The source presents this as maybe the most encouraging way to understand difficult times, especially for people going through them right now.
All right, let's unpack this furnace idea then. Where does it start?
Well, the anchor point is Job 23.10. You know the verse. He knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold.
Powerful line. Sets the stage perfectly.
He really does. And the source jumps right in, saying Job is in the fire furnace. But here's the key bit. It's described as God-ordained.
Meaning God put it there, not because Job messed up.
That's the argument. It's not because of some specific sin. It's not punitive.
So it's developmental, like training.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. God intends to use the suffering, to refine Job, to make him better, purer, like gold.
And this isn't just a one-off idea for Job.
No, not at all. And the source is careful to show that. This furnace metaphor, it pops up quite a bit in Scripture.
Oh, really? Where else?
Well, think of Isaiah chapter 48 talking about being refined in the furnace of affliction, or Psalm 66. And even in the New Testament, 1 Peter talks about faith being tested by fire. So it's presented as this consistent theme, testing, refining through hardship. It wasn't just Job's unique, terrible luck.
Okay, but I mean, when you're in it, when you're Job losing everything, how do you know it's refinement and not just chaos or punishment you don't understand? That's the tough part, surely.
That is absolutely the crucial question. And the source addresses it by focusing hard on this idea of active divine control. This is sort of the aha moment of the text.
Divine control, how so?
It argues that if God puts his people in the furnace, he doesn't just walk away. He keeps his eyes on the clock and his hand on the thermostat.
Okay, I like that imagery.
Yeah, it's vivid, isn't it? He knows exactly how long, exactly how hot, what temperature is needed for that specific person and that specific purpose.
So it's custom-tailored refinement, not just throwing everyone into the same blaze.
Precisely. And this leads to a pretty stark warning in the reflection.
Which is?
Well, it suggests that if you find yourself questioning God, asking, why isn't the fire smaller? Or why hasn't he put it out yet? That questioning itself might actually prove a lack of faith.
Ooh, that's direct.
It is. It frames it as doubting the refiner's skill, doubting that he knows exactly what he's doing to get the perfect result.
That really shifts the perspective, doesn't it? Away from just the pain towards trusting the process, even when it hurts.
Exactly. And that trust, or lack of it, really distinguishes how people navigate these tests. Which brings us to a really interesting contrast the source draws.
Okay.
It contrasts Job's experience with that very famous story of Daniel's three friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
The fiery furnace, Nebuchadnezzar statue, yes, of course.
Right. They refuse to bow, get thrown in. But the fire doesn't touch them. And there's that fourth figure seen walking with them, like the Son of God.
An incredible story of deliverance, proving their faith.
Definitely proved their obedience, their conviction. They believed God could save them. But crucially, they were ready to die if he chose not to. Huge reverence there. They absolutely passed the test of obedience.
But you said the source draws a contrast with Job. How are they different if both faced a fiery test and showed faith?
Yeah, this is where the source gets really specific and is quite insightful, I think. It argues there's a fundamental difference in the kind of faith.
How so?
The argument is that the friends' faith, Shadrach and the others, it was built primarily on the law, the rule. Don't worship idols.
Okay, that makes sense.
So their focus, according to this reflection, was a bit, well, it calls them cold and legalistic. Not necessarily in a bad way, but their main concern was the external action. Did we follow the rule? Did we meet the requirement?
Right, compliance with the known command.
Exactly. Which led them to see God more as a distant creator who sets rules and expects obedience.
And Job, how is his faith different?
Job's faith, even with all his questions and his agony, is presented as total reliance on God himself, like a child trusting a father, even during difficult training.
So it's relational versus legal.
That's the core distinction the source makes. Job's faith was relational. His focus wasn't just, did I break a rule, but more like, what is my father trying to teach me through this? He saw suffering, however painful, as part of growth within that relationship.
Okay, I see the difference. The fire tested the friend's loyalty to the law, but it tested Job's trust in the person of God.
You've got it. And that's presented as a deeper, perhaps more mature form of faith.
Why superior, though? I mean, both stood firm, both were vindicated in a sense.
Good question. I think the source implies that the goal isn't just enduring the fire, it's being transformed by it. The law-based approach gets you obedience, which is vital, but it might potentially leave the heart unchanged. You follow the letter, maybe miss the spirit. Whereas relational faith, like Job's, allows the fire to actually change you, chemically speaking, to burn away impurities, produce genuine humility, that kind of refinement.
But that leads to another danger, doesn't it? If you think you've been refined, you've passed the test, you could become arrogant.
Spot on. And the source explicitly warns about this. The danger of pride that can come from identifying as a child of God.
How so?
If that identity leads to arrogance, thinking, I've got it figured out, I'm refined, it pushes you right back towards that cold legalism, performance over relationship.
And the source connects this legalism to, what, specific sins?
Yeah, it mentions a few possibilities, like hypocrisy or the sin of ignorance, maybe like Job's friends judging him without understanding, or even zealous but misguided action.
Like Saul.
Exactly like Saul, before he became Paul, hunting down Christians, genuinely believing he was doing God's work through force. The source even quotes Jesus' words to him on the road to Damascus.
Why do you kick against the goads?
That's the one. Don't you know you will be injured? It's such a powerful image. Fighting against God's guidance is ultimately self-destructive. It's rooted in thinking you know best.
Based on your own rigid understanding, your own law.
Right, your own sense of righteousness. And the source then provides this beautiful contrast with Jesus' gentle heart, the opposite of harsh legalism. It points to the story of the woman caught in adultery.
I do not condemn you.
Go and sin no more. That blend, the gentleness, the acceptance, alongside the clear call to change, that's presented as the path to real, lasting transformation.
Warm transformation, not cold enforcement.
You said it perfectly.
Yeah.
And that idea, moving from abstract theology to warm, lived experience, brings us to the practical application part of the reflection.
Okay, how does it connect to everyday life?
It uses a specific recent anecdote about a church's outdoor worship service, a food as it's termed.
Right, I remember reading this. It was supposed to be somewhere else originally.
Yeah, planned for a place called Talang in Guangzhou. But last minute, there was a great flood. This was back on September 23rd, so they had to move.
Where did they end up?
Taroko National Park Visitor Center in Hualien.
Okay, so a sudden change, disruption, discomfort, a mini furnace, you could say.
Exactly. Plans ruined, external certainty gone. They had to adapt.
And the source makes a point about Taroko itself, calls it a ghost-act spirit work, an ancient record of nature. Why focus on the location's grandeur?
I think it's to set up a contrast. You have this stunning, world-class, ancient, enduring landscape, the fixed ancient record. It's impressive, but it's external.
Okay, so what did the flood, the disruption, actually reveal?
It revealed what really mattered. The source highlights that the newest memory, the most important thing in that moment, wasn't the amazing view or even the food. It was the warm fellowship, the family spirit they shared despite the disruption.
So the forced change stripped away the externals and showed the strength of the internal connection.
Precisely. The fire, the flood, it proved the spiritual bond, the relational warmth, was the real gold. It mattered more than the scenery or the original perfect plan.
That really brings the Job lesson home. The external stuff, rules, locations, even grand history, it's secondary to the internal, present, relational reality.
And that's the true gold shining through when the external supports get washed away. That's the furnace doing its work.
Okay, so this brings us right back to you, the listener. How do you apply this? The source gives some reflection questions, doesn't it?
It does. 3 really good ones to help internalize this. First, a kind of communication test.
Go on.
If a friend asks you, why does God let good people suffer? How would you answer using this true gold fears no fire idea? Can you explain that difference between punishment and refinement?
Okay, that's practical. What's the second?
Second is introspection. Are you personally trying to run away from the heat when things get tough, trying to escape God's furnace? Or are you allowing it to refine you?
Are you fighting the thermostat or trusting the refiner?
Exactly. And the third question gets to the very foundation.
Which is?
Do you fully trust God to protect you through the furnace? Not necessarily from it, but through it. And crucially, why do you trust Him?
That forces you to check if your trust is just hoping for rescue or if it's a deeper acceptance of the growth process. Legal versus relational again.
Precisely. It gets to the core of your faith.
So let's try and summarize this deep dive then. The main takeaway seems to be that reframing suffering changes everything. If you see it as refinement, not retribution, it stops being random, meaningless pain and becomes a purposeful, even custom-designed process, crafted by a master to polish you, to make you shine brighter in the end.
Beautifully put. It transforms the experience. And maybe the final thought to leave with everyone, building on that Taroko story.
Yeah.
Well, the ancient record, scripture, tradition, even nature's grandeur, they're constant, they're there. But the real proof of your own true gold isn't just knowing about them. It's about the immediate, warm, newest memory you're creating today.
How you're responding in your own mini furnaces.
Exactly. What living proof of relational connection, but
Yep.
trust through difficulty are you generating right now? That's the warmth that truly endures. That's the evidence that shines long after the fire cools down. Seek that connection over just, looking good or following the rules.